Sharing knowledge always increases your knowledge.
हिम्मत चाहिए यार.
Even today, my favorite stocks are always banks. So it was all about money. So money makes interesting. So that's how I got into the stock market. You sell any stock, you would have made money. Not taking a risk is the biggest risk.
What does money mean to you?
Taking a 1 crore rupees risk is like maybe you're risking 3-4 years of your earning.
How to make killer profit in market? Our today's guest is Shivaji Vitthalrao. Coming from a small town in Karnataka, he has managed to get into what we can call mainstream trading of India. We talked about his strategies, ups and downs in his trading journey, his risk-taking ability, and much more. Stay till the end to get the most value out of this conversation. This conversation will surely inspire you. Enjoy. Hello, Shivaji Vitthalrao. A very warm welcome to you at Vichaar Vibe Studio. How are you doing today?
Hi Priyanka, good morning. Thanks for inviting me. I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm also fine. Thank you for asking. I'm always very curious about people such as yourself who have changed their careers, so to say, or maybe reformed it a little bit. So, you were a software engineer, but then you got into trading, and not just got into trading, you became this super successful person into trading with such a large following. So, tell us, how did you get started with this?
Well, when I was in engineering, my mother was anyway working for Canara Bank. She was an investor. She used to invest in primary market. That's like, applying in the IPOs. And I was curious, looking into those things, what she was doing those days. So I got the interest into stock market back then. So it was early 2004 or maybe mid of 2004. Okay, that's when, the market started rallying also in India. And Sensex was trading somewhere around 3,000 or 4,000 points back then. So I started following her, and then I used to watch the newspapers and, for the shares she was holding. And we used to track the prices every day. So it was interesting. So it was all about money. So money makes interesting. So that's how I got into the stock market.
That's right. You mentioned about your mother being your source of inspiration. That's actually very cool to hear. Especially in the generation of our parents, I haven't seen many women being interested in that. How was your childhood with a mother like that?
Uh, well, I mean, she was a banker. Okay. As I said, like she used to, look at people who were investing in her bank, and she started following. Okay. And then I think it was 98, 99 when I was in 10th standard. Okay. So I started looking into these share certificates, the dividends, what we were getting, and the IPO, what she was, applying for. That actually got me excited, like what she is doing being in the bank. Okay, she's investing in the companies. So what is a share? What is a stock? Then I started look into those things, so early in my career. So that's how I started following stock market and following stocks. So I got to know about ABCD of stock market. You can put it that way, and the shares. And then when I got into engineering, and when she started selling stocks, or she started to dematerialize stocks from physical form to electronics form, I used to, go to the JC Road in Bangalore, I to get it converted. Those days it was taking like 15, 20 days to even, dematerialize the stocks. So if you have the certificates, you have to put it into electronic form before, selling it in the from the demat account. So that's how we got into the stocks and the stock market. And, as I said, like I was like 16, 17 years old, probably. That's how I got to know about the stocks and stock market. And slowly and eventually, once I finished my engineering, started learning technical analysis, and then the journey started from there on.
Shivaji, tell us a little bit more about your childhood. Where did you study? How was it for you growing up? Yeah, tell us everything about it.
Okay, great. So, uh, I started my primary and the high school in north part of the Karnataka, that is Gulbarga. Okay. I was studying in Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, which was the CBSE syllabus for us back then. Okay. I used to stay in hostel for a couple of years, and then we moved to Bangalore in 1999 or maybe early 2000 when I finished my 10th standard in Gulbarga. Okay, then I did my 11th and 12th in science in Bangalore, and then I did my engineering in electronics and communication in Bangalore itself. So around 2006, I passed out, and I did my career as a software tester. I started with the Aeronautical Development Agency, Ministry of Defense, um, in Bangalore itself. I worked for the LCA Tejas aircraft. I was involved in helmet mount display system. We were working with the Israel team, that is Elbit system. So I was, interacting with a lot of companies, when we were doing all this, like we were involved with BEL, HAL, LDRA, the ADA, all these government agencies. So I was more into, aerospace domain with the defense companies that is driven by government. And then I worked with the commercial aircrafts, Boeing flight control system for 787 Dreamliner, and then A3 50 XWB, in HCL Tech. And then I worked with the automotive domain in Bosch. Okay, that's when I got introduced to German culture, and then I came to Germany in 2014. And then I worked here in Stuttgart, Germany for Bosch. And then I started my career here in 2017 for a German company. So I'm here in Germany from last 6-7 years. So right now I'm getting into markets and to into my new company full time. So I'm gonna quit this industry. So I have roughly like 14-15 years of experience in aerospace and the automotive domain, and getting into the markets full time. Yeah, that's how it is.
How you got started and how it was for you. But then when you really got started with it, I'm sure you must have gone through a lot of phases where you made some profit, some days you didn't. How was that for you? Did you actually make a lot of losses and learn through your mistakes, or how was the whole journey for you? Can you care to share that with us?
Yeah, sure. So, as soon as I finished my engineering in 2006, okay, I was in stock market, like we were applying IPOs, all right. And then, we saw that big move in the Indian markets from 2005 to 2008. That was the, biggest bull market what we have seen so far. Since he was an investor, we invested a lot of money. We made good returns, and luckily we bought some property in Bangalore. So we had to, sell off our stocks. Okay, that was like the first or second week of January, just before that crash happened. On 20th of Jan 2008. So just after the Sankranti or the Pongal festival, we sold off, and then market crashed. Okay, that is the trigger point for me to get into technical analysis. Okay, so we have seen a stock market rallying, Sensex from 4,000, 5,000 points to 21,000, and then all of a sudden it fell down to 15, 14,000 in a matter of couple of days. So that was a very interesting thing for me to learn, like how did this happen. Okay, I used to watch the CNBC channel back then, those analysts talking about the stock trends or the market future. So I was very curious how these guys are able to predict. Okay, that's when I came to know that these guys use fundamental analysis or the technical analysis part. Okay, fundamental analysis is something which I was very keen to learn, but it was a very vast subject. Me being from a engineering background, it was very difficult for me to understand fundamental. So the easiest thing was the technical. Okay, I'm a technical guy, and the technical word actually suited me as well. So that's when I started with technical analysis in 2008. I met a professor called Rudramurthy from Bangalore. Okay, he used to teach for MBA students. I think there was a subject for MBA guys. So I started my technical analysis journey, understanding the candlesticks part. Okay. So he was doing the batch and he was almost about to complete the batch. So I just requested him to attend. So he just allowed me to attend the candlesticks part, and then I started with the real technical part. The candlestick is a Japanese style. Okay. The technique analysis, which we call it the Western style, that I learned later on in 2000 mid. Okay. I started trading also because he was a trader. Okay, we used to follow him, and those days the Orkut was quite famous thing. He used to write his analysis. I started following him, and then I started to make my own analysis. Okay, I started my trading career as a bear. Okay, there are bull and bear cases. Okay, I'm a short seller. Okay, because he taught us in the classes that we are in a bear market, so we should sell. Okay, so that's how we started, shorting the Reliance Capital, the Praj Industries, the Reliance Communication, these kind of stocks which were in bubble territories. So he was analyzing the stocks, we just started following, and that's when I started to understand the technical part. Okay, so he was more of a subjective guy. He was a professor, so he used to teach the subject in a very good manner. Okay, the market is more about practical part. Okay, practically what you what you study in the textbook is not going to happen in the market. Okay, the market is totally a different guy. So you need to get the hands-on experience and the practical approach. I made good money in 2008. Then we had this Lehman Brothers crisis in September 2008, and then markets collapsed, globally, and we have seen one of the biggest crash during those times. And we made good money because we were a short sellers, and then there was a no-brainer. Like you sell I mean, you sell any stock, you would have made money. That was the time. Okay, it's just the opposite of what is happening right now. So you buy any stock, you make money, right? So it was just quite opposite. Okay, and then the 2009 came, the March 2009, just before the elections, the mindset was same. You are a bear, and once you have that kind of mindset, it is very difficult to change it. Okay, so to become a bull from a bear is again a mindset, or okay, you have to change your style. So I started shorting the same approach because market started rallying around 2800, 2900 Nifty. And then I kept shorting till 3400 till I go bankrupt. So I lost all the money what I made during that crash. So that was the learning. I know I couldn't pick up or I couldn't gauge the market that the trend has changed. Okay. So the mindset has to be changed, but we didn't. That was the biggest mistake. And then we lost. And then I started doing the analysis. Okay. Like why we lost it. Okay. Luckily, just before the election, I lost all the money. So I had no money to, take any trades. And then, that 2009, there was a big upper circuit in the market. Okay. When Manmohan Singh government came, there was a 10% upper circuit, if I remember. Okay. That was like 400 points on the Nifty. So many gone bust because many were short. They were thinking the market will crash because it was crashing from 2008. So everybody's mindset was like, this is a bear market. We're going to short. We're going to make money by doing that. But everybody was losing because nobody could not gauge the trend change. So that's when I decided, was I'm going wrong. I'm doing something terribly wrong. I need to change. Then I met, a couple of guys from Mumbai who are quite famous these days, Nuresh Mirani and NS Fidai. Okay, they were teaching the technical analysis part and they were more practical guys. So I used to learn from Nuresh website. He had a blog as well those days, and then he was doing a great analysis. I try to change my approach to the market. So he was more of a bull. Okay, he's not a bear. Okay, so he looks at a lot of positivity and to make money. He goes long. So that's when 2009, 2010, I started learning technical analysis from them. And then fortunately, I met one guy called Ankit Chaudhary from Faridabad, close to Delhi. Okay, he's also a student of NS Vidai and Nuresh, and he actually fine-tuned me a lot. Okay, he's a guy who does both, shorting as well as going long. Going long is like you buy, and then you sell later. Shorting is like you sell first and buy later. So these are the techniques, that traders use in future market. So he helped me a lot to change my perception, to change my mindset. I think till 2011, 2012, it took me like 3, 4, 5 years, okay, to change my mindset, have the clarity of the subject, and get the practical approach, okay. And then 2012 to 2014 was a tough period. India was going through a lot of internal challenges, okay. Our rupee was not doing great, and the USD was appreciating. We went all the way to 68 rupees, okay, against the USD, and the stock market was very volatile back then. And then, since I had the clarity from Ankit, I think that period actually saved me a lot of money, okay. I stopped a lot of tradings as well as taking unnecessary positions. And then came the 2014 bull market. That's when the Narendra Modi got elected, and then we had a new rally from 6400 Nifty to all the way to 9100 in a matter of 9 months. So that's when I actually made the biggest money of my life those days. And then came the 2015, 2016 demonetization, and then Trump got elected. And then we had a difficult time. I think I had lost 50-60% of my profits, what I had made. And again, uh, gone through a rough pace, because of that overconfidence, what I got from 2014. You learned, you made money, and then you get into overconfident. Okay. It's like when a team wins, consecutive matches, they get into overconfident, then they make silly mistakes in a simple game, and then they lose out. That's what I did. And then the 17, 18, 19, that took me a lot of learning, because the market was consolidating. It did nothing great. But actually, I was losing, all these stuffs. But the biggest mistake what I was making is trading short term. Trading short term is actually a, biggest mistake in my career, to be very honest. So I wasn't riding the, you can put it that way, the long or the big moves in the market. The biggest money is made in the market when you actually capture the biggest moves. But when you try to capture the smallest move and trade or do the scalping, you actually do, end up not making great money. You might make, but at what cost? With a lot of anxiety, a lot of tension, stress. You can put it that way. Since me being a working guy, that was a very tough period. And then, luckily, I had to sell off my holdings, what I had, because I had to buy a property back in Bangalore in 2019. And then I got saved from that 2020 crash, maybe. It's just
Lucky.
what happened in 2008. Lucky. I was lucky again. Maybe I would have made mistakes. I would have been down 50-60%. Who knows? It's a real possibility, because the way the market has crashed, maybe I would have also thought in the same way how much market can fall. It was down from 12,000 to 10,000 to 9,000, and then eventually it went to 7,500. So you never know. But anyway, like, I was trying to analyze everything in 2020, and then I was in Germany. I was making good money in Europe. So I had good amount of money to infuse, and then the turning point was November 2020. That's when I got into the PSU sector, and then got the very cheap prices to invest. And then since then, I think the last 3.5 years has been extremely good for me. So that's how the mindset and the ups and downs has actually given me a lot of learnings, and maybe a growth as well. Maybe those mistakes have helped me in last couple of years. Actually, that has given me a good jump in my career as well in terms of trading.
Yeah, there's actually a lot to extract from what you said. You have always been that person who has adapted to condition. You realize after your 2008, when you were doing all the shorting, after that you realize, okay, this is not working right now. Maybe I need to change it. You looked for mentors and you learned from them. And again, that was your learning process. So you are that person who has always adapted. Okay, this is not working. What can I do about it? And then you did the proper thing. I think that's something we all can take from this conversation, that something is not working in market or in life, just go ahead and see how can I approach this differently. And then you can always come up with solutions on what you can do, right? So we did talk about the market conditions that are changing, and you did mention what you did for them, what you did about the whole conditions. Is there anything extra you want to share with us that you did just to adapt to the market conditions? Because the market is always changing, and there is always going to be a recession. How do I keep my money safe? You know?
Okay, so in terms of changing the approach, what I did was I started learning everything that was available in the market. There were people ready to teach. Let's say there was Elliott wave concept, there was harmonic patterns, there was point and figure concept. Okay, and then you had like market profile concept. Okay, except market profile, I think I I went on to learn everything that was available in the market. I was more keen on learning to understand what is what, even if I don't understand or even if I don't utilize it in my day-to-day activities. My first goal was to understand whether it fits to me or not. Okay, I did many courses. Maybe I spent good amount of money in buying the software. Let's say I think I had done maybe 5, 6, 7 courses. Okay, and then I realized, okay, see, when you actually try to follow too many things, okay, you end up getting into a mess. Okay, you need to develop your own strategy, or you extract some learning from all those courses and make it one single strategy, or you can say method. Okay, uh, after analyzing everything, and I realized, it's gonna be a one simple strategy that works. See, whether it is life or market, simplicity works. That is my
That's
understanding.
actually very well
Okay,
said. Yeah. Mm.
yeah. So being in the market, making the decision is the key thing. Okay, whether to save your money or grow your money. Okay, so keeping the study simple and the approach simple actually helps you a lot. So that's when I stuck to basics or the classical technical analysis. You can put it that way. Okay. Today I have learned like many of the concepts, but at the end of the day, I still use the concept that is the classical or the old method. For example, even today, if you have like cough, you have any diseases or small diseases, you end up using the household remedies, like आप दूध में टर्मरिक ले सकते हो, क्लो खा सकते हो, so you take garlic, ginger. So these are all household remedies. So similarly in technical analysis, there are classical method which are the remedies for many problems. Okay, and one of them is Dow theory. Okay, which is the first and foremost theory. On top of that, everything is built in technical analysis. If you stick to it, I think you can save a lot of problems. And it is so simple. People think that it is very simple. Why should we follow it? That's where the problem is. Okay, so it is actually the solution for many problems. Let's say losing the money or making the money or preserving the money. This actually helps a lot. I think people should understand this concept. And on you take any concept in technical analysis, whether the Elliott wave theory, it is the Dow theory plus the Fibonacci plus the time cycle. That is Elliott wave. Okay, you take any patterns in the technical analysis like cup and handle or the triangles or inverted head and shoulder, everything is a confirmation of Dow theory. Without that, nothing is certain. Okay, no pattern is complete. So people have to understand that. So this is when I stuck to the basics. I think 2020 is when I decided, ki boss, I've done all the courses. I think let me go back to my roots, the basic roots. That is where the real solution is. Just follow that. So that's when actually it gave me a lot of success in terms of trading, in terms of investing. And that's when the game has changed for me and for many of my students, whom I trained in last couple of years.
Since you have mentioned your students, I would love to hear your thoughts about how has it been? How has teaching been for you? How has it changed you? Changed your style and your strategy? Yeah.
Okay. Okay, see, I was doing teaching when I was in India, like 2013 or maybe 2014, early 2014. So I did train couple of people, maybe 50, 100 people in India, and then I had to stop because of the job situation in India. And then I came back to Germany in 2017. So I didn't do any training sessions, to be honest. And then the 2020 came, that was like end of 2020, Then I was followed by a lot of people on the Twitter, and then, they asked me to conduct classes. So I started the training sessions once again. So what happened when I started teaching, when you teach, actually you learn a lot. Okay. So when you teach, you learn a lot, and sharing knowledge always increases your knowledge. When you share things, it increases your knowledge. So I knew all these things, but when I was sharing, it was reaffirmation of my understanding. Okay, I was getting confirmed once again that what I'm teaching and what I'm following is absolutely bang on. Okay, and then I started following. See, when I teach somebody something, I have to follow that first. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, at least, yeah, at least to follow what I was teaching, I started, making those changes in my trading as well. See, when I teach something to students, let me first follow it, and then I'm eligible to lecture somebody. Otherwise, I'm not qualified. So that was the whole thing. So what happened, the clarity came when I started teaching more and more people, and the concepts what I knew, I started getting more confident. Okay. And then we started, analyzing stocks. We had looked into the market. Even the 21, 22 was not a great period for traders. I think that was the toughest time. The end of 21 and the mid of 2022. That was like 10 months was a very tough time for many people. But that is when we actually saved a lot of money, to be very frank, because we stuck to the roots. We stuck to the basics. And then even the students started realizing that, yes, this works. When hundreds of people started believing in your method, it actually enhances your confidence. Ki boss, you're following something that is acknowledged by hundreds of people and it's working in the market. And the whole game changed when the June or July 2022 rally started. Okay. And the market started rallying. We picked up PSU banks quite early. And then by the end of 2022, everybody is in shock because that was the strongest move which we have never seen in PSU banks. And then that we could capture.
And no one saw it coming, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it coming.
You guys saw it coming,
and
no one,
that was
not the wider audience.
the wider audience was of the opinion that these are all, the kachra
Yeah,
stocks.
exactly.
They call it kachra stocks. Okay. I mean, you have to find a gold within the kachra. That was our approach. You can say we found the diamond in these sectors, and then that actually enhanced our confidence by million folds. And boss, we are able to pick something that was not picked by anyone else in the market. Maybe there are some people, okay, but yeah, I'm not denying that others would have not picked, but we were shouting, from the roof that this is gonna do well, and this is all because of the basics what we followed. That actually gave us great confidence. And then the 2023 came, and then we moved to the PSE sector with the same approach. Okay. And by September 2023, I think we have seen a tremendous growth in these stocks, and we have seen great return, great result. We became absolutely confident that the study, the approach, what we are using, it actually works. Despite the volatility, despite the challenges in the market, there was a lot of noise. And there was Russia-Ukraine war, there was bond yields problem, there was dollar index, there was interest rate challenges, there were domestic challenges, inflation, you name it. Okay. Despite that, we were able to make money. And that was the toughest period when a lot of funds struggled, a lot of fund managers struggled. They were they couldn't pick up what was coming in these sectors. And that gave us great confidence. Boss, we are in a position to make a simple analysis, but a great and effective analysis, which can actually give money and also save a lot of money. So that actually changed a lot of things. So by teaching, you learn. By sharing knowledge, it actually enhances your knowledge. That's how I think about it.
I mean, I can only do for that. Yeah, and lot of your students are very grateful to you, as I can see on Twitter. And yeah, so maybe let's talk more about your strategy. What I've seen is
Yeah.
you are kind of a risk taker. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really easy to take risk. हिम्मत चाहिए यार. And just tell us, how do you manage that risk? Not just in terms of trading, but also in terms of जब तुम्हारा उतना पैसा लगा है कहीं पे and it is in a risk position, it will be hard to sleep at night. So how do you manage in the both fronts, in trading and also in your life, let's say?
Okay, see, when I started to take big risk, I think I was like 34, 36, 37 years old. Okay. I realized one thing, and I understand this as well. Not taking a risk is the biggest risk. Okay. If you don't take risk at this age, at what age you will take? When you're 50? When you're 55? When you're 45? So somewhere I had to take that risk. Okay. And I had made this calculation. See, when I was in India, it was a different situation because the salaries were not that great, and post COVID that scenario has changed. But if you see pre-COVID, the salaries were not that great. Okay, when I was in Germany, taking a 1 crore rupees risk, okay, is like maybe you're risking 3-4 years of your earning. So I'm like, if I lose this money, I might go back for 3-4 years. But if I don't take this risk, I might end up, working another 15-20 years. Okay. Somewhere I had to take that risk. So that's why I decided, boss, I have to risk some big money. And then, by this time I had gained a lot of confidence in my system or the approach. And then I decided to go head on with the markets. Okay. मतलब आप बोल सकते हो ना कि करना ही है, रिस्क लेना है. अगर फेल हो गए तो 3-4 साल मेरा नौकरी बर्बाद हो जाएगा, मतलब सैलरीज. अगर नहीं किया तो 20 साल मेरे को और काम करना पड़ेगा, एंड विच आई डोंट लाइक. I don't want to work for 60 years. Somewhere I had to finish this career pretty soon and then get into my passion full time. So that was my thought process. And then I had to decide a point कि when I take that risk, I have to be absolutely confident and the probability should be very high. When you take risk or gamble, whatever you say, the probability has to be very high, to win, not to lose. So I looked at a strategy that is a very high probability, which I teach and shared among thousands of people across the globe. Okay, that is the multi-year, multi-month, or multi-top breakouts. Okay, if a sector or a stock that is not performing for many years, say 5, 6, 8, or even a decade or even more. Okay, when you get into that stocks after a breakout, okay, or breakout is nothing but the price crosses that high. Okay, let's say there is a high, let's say in 2010, that high is not crossed even today. That we are in 24. So if that is crossed today, that is like that high is getting crossed after 14 years. So then the probability of that particular stock or sector to go up is very high. The chances of failing are very minute. That can be a part of the fake breakout concept, you can put it that way. But when you invest, the chances are very minute. You can say 90-95% of the chances are there to win. Maybe you have that 4-5%, or let's say 10-15, 5-10% of losing. So this is the strategy I picked. I want to take the risk. I am ready to sacrifice my 3-4 years of salary, but I don't want to work for next 20 years, and I want to take the risk. So this is the best strategy, where I have 90% or 95% of the probability to win and 5% probability to lose. So let me put it. So I went all in, and I'm a more of a concentrated bet player. I'm not a diversified guy. I don't believe in diversifying the stocks. It's like you're having 15-20 kids at home and trying to manage. It's very difficult. Okay. If you have 3, 4 or 5 kids, it's quite easy. Okay. So managing few stocks in a portfolio is quite easy than managing too many stocks. And again, the allocation is a big challenge when you actually, let's say some people are, these days are very fancy about diversifying too much. Let's say I want to have 30, 40, 50, 60 stocks. Some even own 100 stocks. But the allocation is the biggest challenge. For example, you own something that goes up 400, 500%, and you have very small allocation, then it's of no use. So I'm a guy who want to invest all in, let's say I was investing 2 or 3 sectors maximum. Maybe I was owning maximum of 8, 10 stocks, not more than that. Because as I said, managing becomes easy when you have limited people in your team. When you have more people, you need managers, right? So then you can control them using managers. So I'm the only guy, I'm the fund manager. For my account, I'm the only fund manager. So I cannot afford to have another managers. Okay. So it's me who has to handle. So keep the limited stocks, limited sector, and I was looking at multi-year breakouts. So PSU banks, PSC sector, real estate, auto sector, these were the favorites. So I went all in and then I took the risk and then it got rewarded. Uh, how about sleeping well over the night? As I said, I prepared my mind. As I said, I'm ready to go back 3, 4 years. So that was there
I
always
think
in
you
the mind.
made all the
But as I
pros
said, the
and
probability
cons, and then you made a decision, said that, okay,
exactly.
this is what I'm going to stick with. And that has worked wonderfully for
Yes,
you.
yes. So as I always said, not taking a risk is the biggest risk. So I had to take the risk at one point in time.
This is,
So this was the time.
yeah, that's just great to hear your whole thought process behind this, and yeah, how you manage everything that you said. You mentioned about following your passion. I'm guessing your passion was to create a business out of this. You're going towards this entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, and tell us how that journey has been. How is it going?
Okay, so basically this thought process came, when I started, teaching my students. Okay, they are also trading based on their analysis. I used to guide them whether they are doing the right analysis or whether they are going in the right direction or not. Okay, so what happened during this process? We analyzed together. Okay, and then everybody invested in the sector which we analyzed. That was the PSU PSC sector. So everybody made money. So a period came when people wanted me to handle their money, and it's impossible for me to handle their money without satisfying the regulatory conditions. Okay, that's when I thought to have the proper legal way to handle the money. That's what made me to think about doing a portfolio management or an alternative investment fund that is called AIF. Okay, and the FPI model as well. So let's say we have like couple of hundreds of crores, including students, myself, and the followers. Okay, so this actually gave me an opportunity to get into market full time. Okay, and then manage their money in a structured manner. So I thought about the foreign portfolio investment in the GIFT City for NRIs, OCI, and the foreign nationals. The biggest challenge what we NRIs face here is the first thing is the opening an account. You need to be present physically in India, or you need to get it approved by the embassy here or authorized by the embassy. So it's a very tedious process to even open an account. Forget about trading. So trading in future segment is a very nasty thing for NRIs. Okay, and also the taxation is a big headache. Okay, so when we went to Dubai and Singapore or the Mauritius route, okay, so we thought of doing this FPI model through these channels, but then we realized government of India has replicated this concept in Gujarat, GIFT City, Gandhinagar. Okay, so that's when we thought we will start with our country. At the end of the day, apna desh hai, apne log hai. And then the Indians will feel comfortable if it is handled in India. Okay, than coming through Dubai route, Singapore or Mauritius route, and it also gives that safety in your mind. Everything is happening in India. So we have now opened a platform for NRIs in Gift City, and wherein NRIs, OCIs, and the foreign national can earn a tax-free income from market, that is from the derivative segment. Okay, the cash segment is anyway is taxed normally, compared to the domestic guys. Okay, the biggest advantage is you make money that is in derivatives, which is taxed 30-35% or even 40% sometimes to the domestic people. Here you have to pay 0% tax for the next 10 years. I think that is a great advantage. That's when we thought, keep being an NRI, at least I'm not supposed to pay the tax. That is going to be a tax saving thing for myself. And then on top of that, if we can manage money or handle money, using the AF concept, I think it's going to be a great platform. Plus, we will have our own company, plus create jobs, create name, and create wealth for many people. And over the years through Twitter, I think I have roughly 84,000 people followers. So I think they have seen me sharing the knowledge, um, sharing the charts without any charges. I don't run any advisory services, and they were very keen to associate with me. So this was the great time, and the market also gave an opportunity for me to open this platform. In terms of sponsoring, you need a lot of money to sponsor these funds. So that has actually helped me to create these setups, and we are still working on it. And then we would like to create a great platform for domestic as well as the Indians living abroad, so that we create wealth for everybody.
I'm sure all your followers and all your investors are super grateful to you for thinking of all these things which they probably might not, right? So, Shivaji, would you maybe have any advice for women who wanted to get into trading or learn this skill, let's say?
Okay, so I have two interesting things for the
Okay.
women. Okay, the woman likes gold and the silver. Okay, so I have some interesting analysis on the gold and
Okay.
silver. Okay, this is the latest chart. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I do.
So this is the gold chart in dollar terms. Okay, it's trading at $2,082. Okay, so as I expressed a couple of minutes back on my strategy, I look at multi-top, multi-year breakouts. Okay, this was the 2020 top, that is July, and again it made the similar top in March 2022. It is circled here, you can see. Again the same level in May 2023. Okay, and then from couple of months, in the last 1 or 2 months, it started to cross this. And yesterday we had got a fresh breakout here. Okay, if you look at the whole setup, this is a horizontal breakout with a multi-top breakout, you can put it that way. So the gold is right now headed to 2500 at least. Okay, from here at least 20% gain in gold. So this should make a lot of investors, especially the women investors, interesting in this commodity, and they are always interested in gold. Okay, I think this is one of the easiest method to make the judgment on the stock market, that is a horizontal breakout plus the multi-year breakout, and gold is absolutely satisfying those conditions. So gold looks interesting bet for me
Okay.
for next couple of months. And the another commodity is silver. You can see silver, it is consolidating from 2020
Mhm.
tops. All the tops and bottoms are shown with these red circles. It is consolidating, and now it is trading at $23.12. Okay, I think the moment the gold crossing 25.5 or even $26, okay, I think it is heading for $35 to $50. So the consolidation time is 2 to 3 years. Okay, and so the trending move will be at least 1.5 years. So we will have good rally in gold and silver for at least 1 to 1.5 years. So this should make a lot of investors interested in these commodities. So yeah, gold and silver, my good picks for the women investors.
Thank you so much for sharing, Shivaji.
My pleasure.
Shivaji, there's great deal that we learned from you through this long conversation. Now it's time to move on to our next segment called Rapid Vichaar. So I have some questions here for you. You have to answer all of them like very rapidly. Are you ready?
Okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You did mention some of your mentors and influences in your life, like your mother, Nurani, Fidai. But yeah, who guided you in your trading journey? Who would be your mentors?
Ankit Chaudhary.
Okay. And can you share your favorite trading moment?
I think it was in 2013 when we shorted the HDIL stock. That was the short trade, and the HCL Tech long trade. I think these were my favorites.
Okay. What would your recommendations be for 2024? What are the interesting sectors that we can look for?
I'm not supposed to recommend anything, but anyway, what are my favorite? I think the private bank space and the NBFCs, which includes NBFCs, is the play for 2024, along with PSU banks.
How do you strike a balance between relying on your instinct and research?
Research is 50% and instinct is 50%.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I think let's go a little bit philosophical. What does money mean to you?
Yeah, money for me is just the materialistic thing. So ultimately, the goal is the spirituality.
Oh, okay. I think now is the question I think everyone is waiting for. Give us your one takeaway on how to make killer profits in market.
I think, as I said, one of the strategy could be the multi-year breakout plus stick to the instinct. I think that could actually give you the killing profit with ease without tension.
Okay.
Yeah. So मैं हिंदी में भी बोलता हूँ लोगों को मल्टी-ईयर ब्रेकआउट में पैसा लगा और गांव चले जाओ देखना ही नहीं है.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for all of your answers. Yeah, you mentioned about spirituality. I'm very keen to know how do you perceive that journey, or what does that spirituality mean to you?
Well, difficult to answer for me. I'm actually looking into that aspect recently because first you run behind the money, okay, which is the materialistic thing. Okay, at the end of the day, it is the peace. The money doesn't give you the peace, right? So you need to understand your karmas. You need to understand the spiritual aspect of your life. I'm starting my journey into that direction. So I think it is very difficult for me to answer too much or too many things on the spirituality.
Okay.
To be frank.
Okay, but thank you anyway for sharing as much as you did. So I'm glad that you said something about that and shared that with us. So maybe we can move on to our next segment, which is called Vichaar Chits.
Yeah.
Shivaji, for you, Vichaar Chits is something that we use to connect with our audience. We have a question that I will pick from these chits, and that's the question also for our audience, right? So right now I am the ready one who can pick, so I will do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the question is, what did you want to be as a child? So as a child, you will always have this wild dreams that what you want to be. Just yesterday, my friend mentioned, she's one of our hosts from Vichaar Wife, she mentioned that she wanted to be a raw agent or something like that. So what is something like that for you?
I just wanted to be a cricketer. So
just like everyone.
So I'm everybody. Yeah. So I was and I am the great fan of Sachin Tendulkar. I used to copy his every shot when I was kid. Irrespective of the temperature what we had in North Karnataka. If you see, it's like 40-45 degree temperature. I used to play even in such hot temperatures. So I just wanted to be a cricketer, but unfortunately, I ended up becoming an engineer and then a trader.
Maybe fortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Shivaji, that was the interview. And again, I cannot thank you enough for being here today and answering all of our questions. It has been a great pleasure to talk with you. Yeah, I usually do not have conversations about trading and, all these things. But still, there's a lot to extract from your conversation about your mindset, how you see money, or, yeah, how would you improve yourself through the whole process. So thank you for being here and enlightening us with all of the information.
Thanks, Pio. Thanks for all the time that you have given to me, and it's my pleasure to connect to you. And it's such a great platform so that we can communicate some of our learnings and the experience to your audience and the viewers. So it was great talking to you. Thanks so much for your time, and it's indeed a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks once again.
Thank you for watching this episode until the end. There is a lot to learn from Shivaji. But my biggest takeaway of the episode was you do not have to do anything fancy. You can always apply something simple and do great things with it. I think that is the message we all should take from this episode. Be sure to comment what were your learnings from this episode. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe to our channel Vichaar Vibes.